Hey, everybody. Well, I am so jazzed to be here, and it's so great to meet all of you. And I want to keep this really interactive. And just a shout out to John for organizing all of this, right? Amazing. And I feel very privileged to be on this stage with so many amazing speakers. So thank you very much. So first of all, are you having a great time? Yeah. Okay, awesome. Okay. Do you feel relentless? Yeah. Do you feel motivated? Okay, right. It just being around all this abundant beauty reminds us that we live in a very abundant universe where anything is possible. So I just really want you to open up your minds, get a little bit more on the kind of right side of your brain instead of the left side of your brain. All right, so everybody, I'm just gonna start my slides here. I don't know where oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, so I know how my tech works now. This is great. So I'm Melinda Wittstock, and I'm really excited to share with you the epiphanies that I've had on really a roller coaster journey through entrepreneurship, because it is that. A lot of successes, a lot of failures, but I've grown 4 businesses to high 6-figure, 7-figure, and 8-figure success. And I now help entrepreneurs really leverage their true passion and purpose for transformational outcomes. Wings Media, my 5th company, is a podcasting network where I'm solving a major problem for podcasters who have no daylight into their data. They don't know who their audience is, they don't know how to engage their audience, and they can't monetize it. And at the same time, advertisers have like a spray or pray thing. So we're solving that. So I can't really wait to share this with you, but I just want to warn you that I am going to bust some myths. I like truth telling, and sometimes some truths are a little bit hard to tell, but I'm going to give you 12 game-changing habits. You can see some of them on a handout there. We're going to be really very interactive today because I really want you to manifest your dreams in business and in life. And get this, without the grind, without the hustle, in intention and in flow. All right, so if that sounds good, I want to ask you, how many of you really feel ready to just play bigger in your life? Okay, yeah, what does playing bigger mean to you? Anybody just want to shout out what playing big means?
Being the most impactful.
Most impactful? Okay, that's good, most impactful.
Being vulnerable, going after what really you want, and it's a lot scarier than just succeeding at something that you don't actually really care about.
Right, okay, cool. Anybody else? So I noticed like nobody said like more zeros. Nobody said, oh, I want to make it to 8 figures or 9 figures or whatever, right? When I talk to a lot of women, because I do a lot of work with women and I have a podcast that's aimed at women entrepreneurs, and when I say play bigger, a lot of women have a look of dread in their eyes, like for a split second, but you can see it because it's kind of like, oh my God, it means I have to do more. I'm already doing everything, just like what Valerie was talking about. Oh my God, so to play bigger, it sounds daunting, it sounds terrifying, it's like really, really hard. But when you say it to men, they're like, yeah, of course, damn, I want to play bigger, right? Why not? Okay, so a couple questions for all of you because I want to get an idea of like who you all are. How many of you are entrepreneurs? Put show of hands. Okay, awesome. How many of you are like startup stage pre-revenue? Okay, so, okay, not, okay, yeah, okay, cool. And how many of you have hit 7 figures? Okay, so we got a sort of 6-figure kind of, how many 8 figures right now? Okay, how many of you have a podcast? Okay, awesome. How many of you want a podcast? Okay, kind of, maybe, okay. What about authors? How many of you have books? Want to have books? Okay, all right, okay, cool. So, I want everybody to, hold on a minute, I just want everybody to stand up who has a bigger game to play. Right, like right now, you're working on like advancing your life to this other thing and maybe it's a little bit scary, but you've got a bigger game to play. Okay, that's good. Okay, and thank you, and we're gonna stay standing. And the people who are sitting down, what is it that's stopping you from wanting to play a bigger game? No, seriously, I really want to know. Don't feel any pressure. Don't feel any pressure. I just want to know, like, what is making you think, oh, no, everything's perfect as it is. Like, I don't want to do anything else. It's not perfect. Okay, but what, seriously, tell me.
Clarity of what I want to do. Knowing you want to do something different, but not
not having the clarity yet. Okay, so waiting for the, okay, that's awesome. Okay, got it. Okay, so but when you have that clarity, you're ready to go all out. Okay, that's awesome. All right. Often when people, you can sit down now. Sorry. Sorry. Often when people are afraid of playing bigger, there's always a little bit of fear sort of in there in some way, whether we know it or not. I know that in my life, when I dare to play bigger, right, you can hit blocks, you can hit obstacles, you can hit all sorts of things that kind of go wrong, right? You can fail, you can have fear of failure, you can have fear of success. A lot of women have fear of success. I suffered from this for a very long time, and it manifests something like this. Oh gosh, if I really step into the light, if I really, really go for it, if I really play bigger, oh God, no man's gonna want me, right? Like, because I'm gonna be, right? And it was an old script. It's not true. It's something I maybe heard my mom say when I was 5, or saw on a television show or something like that, but it's embedded somewhere in that neural pathway. Or other women aren't gonna like me, or whatever, right? Like we all have these different things. Or we have fears of like, oh, if I really step into the light, like what's that actually gonna mean? You know, maybe people won't like what I'm doing. Maybe, I mean, we all have these kinds of fears. So I want everyone to just take a minute, because we're gonna release some of those fears today. And we're gonna think about how to actually release those. A lot of them are fears that we don't even know we have. We're not conscious of them. And it makes it difficult to actually figure out how to release them. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, how you know when you're in fear, when you're stuck in this procrastination, perfectionism, and paralysis. I'm a recovering perfectionist, for example. I mean, I really am. There should be an AA for that. Like, I'm going to just do it until it's perfect, and that's fear dressed up pretty, like in a little bow. I'm going to make it look so pretty. I'm going to work on it, work on it, work on it. It's so great, because underlying that is the idea that, wow, whatever I do isn't valuable enough, or I'm afraid that it's not valuable enough. So I'm going to keep enhancing it, keep making it better, being afraid to give it to somebody else. That's a controlling behavior, right? But we all have, a lot of women in particular have that perfectionism. So I want to take a minute. I want to just breathe for a moment. You guys, I want you to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to do like a box breath, okay? So I want you to like breathe in through your nose on a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Breathe out through your mouth, count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. We're going to do that 3 times. You ready? Okay? Okay. How'd that feel? Okay. Good. Okay. Sometimes when we're in fear, we become human doings. What I mean by that is that we mask our fear. I mean, we can mask it with drugs or alcohol. We could mask it, as we often do as entrepreneurs, with hard work, the hustle. Like, we just keep busy. We just kind of stay in the grind, and we're running on a task treadmill, faster and faster and faster and faster. And yet, sadly, what happens when we're doing that is we actually are achieving less, or we're just running faster and faster and faster in place and not really reaching a destination. And while we're running, we're forgetting to enjoy the journey, because it's about the journey. It's not really about the destination. So many times you can get to the destination, like maybe it's an exit, or maybe it's the car that you wanted, or maybe it's whatever, and can feel empty inside. Like, it's like, wait a minute, I got here and I feel the same. How many people have experienced that? Yeah, like just about everybody. I know I have too, right? So it's like the journey. It's like trying to figure out how to really be in the present moment where the power truly is, and enjoying that journey, even enjoying it finding positivity when you fall down or when you fail, seeing it as an opportunity to learn, for instance, all of these sorts of things. So today I really want to kind of shift us from being in hustle, that we all think we have to be, into being in flow. Like, flow sounds better, doesn't it? I mean, it's a lot more fun to be in flow, okay? The other thing I want to really talk about is the concept of abundance, because when we're running in place, underneath that is a belief that, God, life is, there's not enough to go around. There's scarce. Like, we have to go faster and faster, because if we don't, or if we don't strive, or we don't hustle, we'll miss the opportunity, or we'll miss the thing. And inherent in that is a belief that there's not enough to go around. It's a scarcity mindset. It manifests in all sorts of different ways. Like, if that person succeeds, then I won't, right? When we're being human doings, and we're running very quickly, we miss things. We miss signs in this abundant universe that we live in. We miss inspirations. We don't hear. We don't receive. We can miss opportunities in that way. So today I really want to focus also on how we can open up those kind of white spaces, those quiet moments in our day, in our lives, to really receive inspiration and really understand that we do live in a very abundant universe where anybody can really achieve anything. Anything's possible. It's like, John, how you began this whole thing with a big BHAG, like anything is possible. And I believe that too. And it's a very personal mission of mine to help people get out of a scarcity mindset and into a more abundant mindset. So I have a little exercise for you. I want you to each find a partner. Just the person sitting next to you, just partner up. Just two people, please. And you can stand up, because I want you to face each other. Okay? Awesome. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to look into your partner's eyes for a minute. A minute. A minute. Take off the sunglasses. It's not allowed. You have to look deep into your partner's eyes. You cannot blink. A minute. Okay? Are you guys ready? No, well, wait for it. A whole minute. Okay, ready? Okay, ready? Go. Quiet. Stare into each other's eyes. Shh. Okay, I'm going to take you out of your pain now. So I want you both to take turns, take 30 seconds to just tell the other person what you saw in their eyes. Okay, if you haven't already, please switch. Okay, everybody, you all done? Okay, first of all, I want you to give yourselves a round of applause, please, because that's like a hard thing to do. Okay? Okay. I want to ask a few of you if you had any epiphanies. Either about what someone said about you, maybe you were surprised by something they said about you, or what you noticed in the exercise, how the exercise made you feel. Is there anybody who would like to share an epiphany?
We had a very romantic.
You had a romantic moment. I saw that. It was cute. But seriously,
I got a little warm for sure.
you did?
I mean, you can't blame me, right? So.
It's interesting because it.
I have an epiphany. I've never
Yeah.
stood that close to somebody and made eye contact and not kissed them.
Dougie has a claim to fame.
That's what I was going for.
Okay. Did someone compliment you in a way that was unexpected? Anybody? Please share how that, like what was said and.
He said I look like a good person.
A good person,
I
right?
got just the opposite. He said I looked like a Lannister from Game of Thrones. I think Stone Cold Killer was the word he used.
How many of you take the time when you're just in the moment to really understand somebody else's value or your own? Because that's what this exercise is really about. Because often when we actually take the time and we look into someone's eyes and we see the whole person, and when we allow that other person to see all of us, that's pretty rare, right? Because when we're all really busy being human doings, we don't take time to do that. How many of you were complimented in that exercise and brushed it off? I said, oh, no. You did? What happened? What did he say?
Joking. But I love him.
And so, yes, can I ask, do you mind sharing what was said? And
He said that I had very kind eyes and a good soul.
And I saw your brain working.
Brain working.
brain was working, yeah,
Because it
of
does.
course.
Yeah, but I thought the kind soul was very sweet.
Yeah.
At first I said, oh, stop.
Right. Now, thank you for saying that, because I think often we do that. We get complimented or we get seen, but we immediately reject that. Like, what's that about? And to me, it's a sign that we're not fully even valuing ourselves. That underneath that is that we don't really feel we deserve to receive compliments or receive from an abundant universe, right? So this is a really interesting exercise to do with your team. Those of you who have who are entrepreneurs, this is a really interesting team building exercise, because it allows you to really kind of connect, allow your team to really connect, really see each other, really value each other. And to really note when you're feeling uncomfortable. I mean, we laugh about it, but that laughter, that's discomfort. And the reason for the discomfort is because we're afraid of being seen. It's like, oh my God, like, what if that person knows, like maybe you're feeling like imposter syndrome, or maybe you're feeling something, or whatever it is. What if they know? What if they find me out? There are a whole bunch of different things. So it is one of those things that starts to show where the fear actually is, right? Where you're triggered. And we're going to talk a little bit about what to do that. So the tragedy of life, I think, for most of us, is that many of us don't fully see or accept the qualities in ourselves that are truly unique, that really make us amazing. We spend a lot of time, that inner voice, we spend a lot of time on all the things we don't like about ourselves. That inner bully, that talks to us incessantly about how we should do this, or we can't do that, or we must do that, or like, oh my God, you're not good enough. Like, damn, you could have done that better, that voice.
One that sits on your shoulder.
Yeah, like it sits there the whole effing time, right? I mean, it's always there. Right? It's always there. So like, And it says things, it's like nagging, it says things to us that we would not accept from our worst enemy. How many of you have that voice? Like really? And would anybody be, vulnerable enough to share what that inner voice says to you? I mean, this takes some bravery to actually to say it out here, but one of the ways is just letting it go. Sometimes when you say it out loud, it's sort of like takes the power out of it. You don't have to, but go ahead, yeah.
I'll do it. I am not, it keeps saying I am not a entrepreneur yet, and I'm surrounded by them right now, so act like them, or else they'll notice you.
Right. Okay, like every entrepreneur. Okay, so I'm glad you said that because every entrepreneur has that. Like I have that, like all the time. Like seriously. Like, oh my God, I was not good enough. Like that wasn't, oh God, will I really fit in? Am I really as good as all these other people that I'm masterminding with? Oh my God, they do that. I don't know how to do that. So that must mean I'm less than. The point is everybody has unique abilities of where we're really, really amazing. And as an entrepreneur, one of the best things you can do is really focus in on what makes you unique, like what your true superpower is, and hire the rest. Like, you right? Like really think about what you suck at. That's great. Like, hire that. Like, you don't have to do that, okay? But it's really wonderful to really let it sink in within yourself about all the things that really are wonderful about you. And accept what your partner said about you, truly receive it. When people compliment you, they don't want to be dissed. if you say, oh, pff, that's like you just dissed them. Like people feel really good when they're giving. And givers need receivers. So receive. This is very, very important. Okay. So when you know your value, a whole bunch of things become very clear to you. I mean, not only when you know your own value, can you create valuable businesses, valuable lives, you create value for other people when you value yourself, but it also provides this tremendous clarity. And that provides productivity, an increased productivity in your life. The clarity that allows you leverage. The clarity that allows you to say, okay, I'm going to do this and do this really, really well, and I'm going to hire the rest. That kind of clarity. The type of clarity that allows you more time in your day because you're not trying to do everything. You're doing the thing that only you can do, the thing where you are your most valuable. It provides clarity about decisions. Who should I hang out with? Who should I not hang out with? How should I spend my time? Who should I spend my time with? What's a no? What's a hell yeah? Where your boundaries are. So when you know your own value, decisions become easier. Knowing what impact you want to have on the world becomes easier. And really transforming time from a scarce resource to one that's quantum becomes also possible. So I have a question for you. How many of you know your superhero or super shiro power? Yes.
I've become exceptionally good at taking really complex things and making them simple.
That's an awesome superpower. Really cool. Okay, who else? Yes.
I'm really good at staying calm under pressure.
Yay. That's a very valuable resource. That's really good. Do you test it? Do you like being calm under pressure? Do you end up having a lot of pressure in your life?
Yes.
Okay, so you actually almost invited in.
Yeah. Well, I own a martial arts school, teach martial arts, and I'm
Okay.
so that in and of itself, practice in and of itself is pressure.
Okay.
And then do that, and then that translates into my other parts of my life.
That's awesome. We all need people who are calm under pressure. Yeah. How about you? You had one? Do you have one?
Strategic thinking,
Okay.
problem solving.
All right. Okay. Who else? Yes?
I work with high-performing leaders,
Uh-huh.
and my superpower is helping them to sustain their growth and accelerate it. Come on out.
That's great. Wonderful. Okay. Who else? Yes.
Sparking joy and confidence in others.
Ah, that's lovely. How did you discover that superpower?
It kept coming up in my life. People kept telling me,
Hmm.
especially as of late. So
Okay.
the universe is just kind of reflecting it everywhere.
Right. Isn't that interesting? Because when you really hone in on it, and the more you do of it, the more you leverage that superpower, the more of it that you attract, right?
Snowballs.
It does. It's like a domino effect. It's like law of attraction. So when you know what you want, you get more of it, right? Who else? Yeah, I'd want to hear from more women about your super shiro power. Over here. I sense so. Come on. Now don't look behind you.
Oh, what is my superpower? What do you think? I like this.
Being a very good person and being available for your people that you coach and mentor. And being open to helping them grow like flowers.
Lovely. How beautiful. So much of our success in business and life comes down to, and thank you received that nicely, by the way. Thank you. So much of our success in life comes to knowing that value, knowing that super hero or super shiro power. Did you have something, Alex? You want?
I think it's my work ethic and
Uh-huh.
trying to be present at all times.
Ah,
You know, mentally, not only being there just to, you know, do the hours, but rationalize like what you're doing and trying to improve the process.
got it.
Constantly, you know, whether it's communicating with people or doing whatever task is at hand, as minimal as it is, you know, trying always to do it faster, better, and transferring that into different aspects of my life.
Fantastic. Yes.
So I'll say mine. I think it's understanding, trying to help people understand their goals and then how they can truly achieve them.
Okay.
Like not a goal and then like that's your goal, but how can you actually execute and achieve it?
Got it. You know, it's so interesting that a lot. Oh, yes, go ahead.
I just thought of mine. I can always find the silver lining.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's true.
I love it. You know what's really funny is that so much of our value or our superpower skills are really in evidence when we're young children. How many of you remember what you were doing as a little kid? Yeah, just go ahead, just shout out really quickly. What did you love to do as a kid?
So I like to plan for things. I think I always did that as a kid. I had my careers planned out. I wanted to be a judge, an architect, or an ambassador.
Okay.
I'm none of the three, but I had a very specific vision.
Uh-huh.
And that translated through high school and college. Like I knew which classes I
Okay.
wanted to take. And I had this path, and then I met him. So.
Okay, so you've always, so you've always known. So this is like something in your childhood that shows up in your life right now. What are some other things? Yes.
I like to boss people around. I was laughing because I would have known who was in charge in that room with 6 little girls. But seriously, I think execution of
Okay.
plans, like really being a leader and helping
Right.
people get to the end, finishing the project is like something that
Okay.
I enjoy doing, and I still.
Awesome.
I want to counter Kay. I'm the complete opposite. I've never planned. And it's amazing. Obviously you're not gonna make the most money doing that, but the experiences you have and the people you meet by not even expecting to meet them that day is just feeds your soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people? Yes, you have a.
So my superhero power, I was going to say perseverance.
Uh-huh.
As a child, it was just called stubbornness.
Stubbornness. Okay. That's awesome. Sometimes, yes, go ahead.
I was going to say, I was rarely quiet as a child, so I gravitate towards public speaking and specifically comedy.
Okay, that's awesome. So on your little sheets, you can brainstorm more about this, but there's a little question of how are you spending time as a kid? And it doesn't even have to be as a kid, but as an adult where time disappears. You know, you just love what you're doing so much. And the next part of it, does that actually manifest in your work right now, in what you do as an adult? And if not, why not? And how can you usher that joy into your life? Because a lot of the clues are in those really early years. And so I have a picture of myself up here. This is me. I'm I think I was 5 in this picture, or maybe 4 or whatever. And it was a really interesting time for me because what I loved to do as this little girl was put on shows. I'd put on music, and I'd have my Barbies, and my black lab, and I would dance. I would choreograph these like spectacular shows, right? And I'd be like organizing everybody and like where the lab had to be and the Barbies and the this and that and whatever. And I also competed in figure skating. And so I never really doubted my value, like at all, as a young kid. I was just doing what I loved to do. And so one day, I mean, like I was precocious and I had a purpose. And so one day, I just decided I was going to just go out and knock on doors and ask people to prepay for my show. Seriously, like I did that. I guess they all paid, you know, and I came home with a fistful of dollars. I said to my dad, where can we find 100 chairs? So my grandmother was the first to diagnose it. She said, "You're disruptive." And I was, and I liked that. Like, I like disruptive innovation, you know, it stayed with me. It's the kind of disruption that led me to, like, just impromptu lead a whole bunch of students to occupy the administration building at McGill back when I was a student there to get divestment from South Africa on the Board of Governors agenda and get McGill to be the first to divest from South Africa in the apartheid era. Or, you know, in my late 20s, creating a show for the BBC and growing that to an audience of 20 million people. Or creating an app, the first crowdsourcing app, and growing that to an audience of 3 million people in 8 months. I didn't know to not do. There was nothing that in my own head that stopped me in those days. But somewhere along the line, I forgot what I knew at 6. Totally forgot it, like completely forgot it. I totally forgot my value. And here's what happens when you can forget your value. I ended up gaslit, verbally abused, in a relationship, a terrible marriage to a narcissistic alcoholic that honestly left me in a fetal position. Over many years, I completely lost my confidence. I was completely knocked off my mojo. I was otherwise a successful entrepreneur. I wasn't able to share the shame that I felt with anybody. I didn't want anybody to know. So my investors didn't know, my team members didn't know, like my friends didn't know what I was going through. And there was a certain point where I thought, God, I had this epiphany. I had married the very worst aspects of my parents. And my parents are great. I mean, one of them, my dad was a star stockbroker. He led the Coca-Cola IPO. My mom was an Olympic figure skater. But their particular marriage was toxic. And so the lessons that I took on as a young kid entered in those neural pathways you were talking about, right? Where you start to look for confirmation to prove what you know right. And so if you're in a situation of like parents arguing or arguing about money or, you know, in a divorce or with alcoholism, it's so easy if you're not conscious to replicate that at some other point in our life. And the reason I tell you this story is that we often have these subconscious drivers that we don't even know we had, because consciously, all through those years, I was like, oh, I'm different from my parents. This will never happen to me. I'm living a life where this will never happen, and the exact thing happened, right? So to get into the present moment and to really understand what those drivers are is not necessarily the easiest thing to do, but there are ways, and there are ways to do it. And one of the things that my parents left me with, or this situation that I was in, was this thirst for truth. It's what led me to be a journalist. I've always been really interested in discovering like the why of things, like how things work and why they work. So hence all my businesses are in media and that kind of thing, right? And it led me on a journey of personal growth, which was, sorry, I forgot all my slides here. And the personal growth journey and finding my own voice really was about helping other people find theirs. And that's really where my superpower comes in, like the choreography, all these different things come in. And through anyone's life, I mean, here are just some of my ups and downs, along the way, right? I was a member of a really interesting mastermind where we had to put our life on like a chart and plot it out. And I remember at one point I was telling my story and I had so many ups and downs, like so many, and like everybody was like horrified. They were all looking at me like, it's like, oh man, like I can't share with these people if it's too much, right? But in those moments, in the ups and downs, the downs are really cool times, actually. They're really, really interesting if you know how to really focus them or understand that they are learning moments, they are fail forwards, they are showing you, it's the universe showing you where you need to take a slightly different turn or what you need to release or what you need to let go in your life to be able to step into the better version of you. So one of the big epiphanies came for me in the Amazon rainforest, as one does. So my partner and I, Steve Little, we were there in the middle of the Amazon jungle and looking up at millions and millions and millions of stars. It hit me. Fear. That's it. It's at the root of everything. It's what's wrong with it warps our decision making. It's fear. And I would tell everybody, I mean, I was lying on this banana leaf in an ayahuasca ceremony. Everyone's like, yes, okay. And it's fear. And like all these people would go by, it's fear, whatever. And it really kind of led me on this amazing journey. One of the things that the shaman told us right before we did the ayahuasca ceremony was that if you see the jaguar, and the jaguar in the Ecuadorian Amazon with the Achuar people, the jaguar is fear. If you see the jaguar, you touch the jaguar, right? Otherwise, the jaguar will chase you for the rest of your life. It's like, oh, okay, better touch the jaguar. So at one point in the ceremony, you're a couple of banana leaves away from me, and I hear Steve say, touch that fucker. It was hilarious. And I was looking for the jaguar. I was like, damn, I want to see the jaguar, right? I'm like competitive, I really want to see the jaguar. Instead, I saw this. Well, at one point, you were like, you had the moves and everything. It was pretty wild. At one point, I looked up at the sky, though, and I saw this big owl in the sky and all the stars. This is a huge owl. And I thought, okay, well, I better touch it, I guess, right? Like, touch it. So I pointed at the eye, and I was in the eye at that point. And I could see this amazing detail of the Amazon rainforest. I mean, like down to like a little bug, or like just almost like an eyelash of a of a creature. But I could also see the whole expanse and this whole idea of abundance. This whole idea of like, wow, it's just fear. The only thing that holds us back is ourselves or our fear and how to. And how to do that. And so, I mean, I think in business, one of the reasons I'm so passionate about entrepreneurship and how entrepreneurship can be used as a tool for personal growth is because not only is personal growth necessary to have business growth, like entrepreneurship will test you in every way possible. Like it will throw stuff at you that you don't even know, stuff that you can't control. And how you react to that, these moments are all opportunities for growth. And I believe that in business, we can really defeat those fears. I believe in business, we can really architect purpose-built lives around the lives that we want, that really suit our skills at our time, like our agenda, how we want to spend our time. And we can use business to create transformational outcomes for other people. As we step into understanding our own value, we're better able to create value for other people and help them along as well. So I want you just to take a moment and write down or think about one thing that really scares you. Like, what's your biggest fear in your life? It's either the nagging voice or the 3 o'clock in the morning thing or something that, you may not know, but think about it. Like, what is your biggest fear? think about it just for a little bit and write it down if you want to. Or you can just shout it out. Anybody have? Not enough time. Yeah, because there's so much to do, right? Yeah, okay, not enough time. And in that, there's like a regret, like fear of regret, fear of missing out, fear of, right? Okay, anybody else?
Not meeting others' expectations. Like not to what others might think.
Okay, and can you, just a quick question on that. Other people, you can't,
It doesn't matter at the end of the day.
it doesn't, but you want
Doesn't
to,
matter at all. But producing, I have a business as a private chef. I also do
Yeah.
a million other things. I'm a writer. I do a lot of things.
yeah.
But and whatever I deliver is always, again, I'm a perfectionist as you were.
Yes.
I always get positive feedback, but there's
Yeah.
always a fear that one of these days there won't be that positive.
Yeah.
That's nagging in the back.
Yeah, so at the underlying root of that, and this is one that we all have, right? Like we all want to be liked. We're all afraid of being alone. At the end of the day, that's probably the fear. And it's probably the thing that motivates everything. So whenever these things come up in our lives, I mean, I'm so excited about this because I have a golden retriever picture as well. So golden retrievers are really big in my life. And have you ever seen a dog just shaking something off? Right? Like literally they see something that kind of bugs them or they feel uncomfortable or whatever, and they sort of like in a non-judgmental way, they literally just shake it off. Like it's letting go. So I want you guys to do that. Like whatever that fear is, because we all have it, I want you to just take a moment and just visualize just letting it go. Like summon your inner golden retriever or shepherd or whatever and like literally shake it off. Just let it go. Do whatever you have to do. Close your eyes if you like. I just want you to really let it go. Now, I know that that sounds really impossibly easy, right? Like what, just let it go? Like you don't have to do something? I have to take a course for that to get credentialed in like letting go. I have to read a book. To do something. It has to be hard. It has to be hard to be valuable. How many of you kind of think that it's hard to just let these things go? Or did you find it easy just to let it go? Did you let it go? Temporarily, right. Every time you get triggered, how many people here get triggered by something? Yeah, like probably everybody. I mean, I get triggered by stuff. Like just something will piss me off, like, or I'll get upset. And I won't necessarily know why. Like it's maybe something like really trivial. But each time that happens, it's telling me something about me that I need to maybe work on or release. Right, that I can let go of, right? And getting more disciplined about being in those moments where you just say, okay, it's happening again. I feel sad or I feel upset or I'm just like really like unaccountably pissed at that person. Why? What is it? And for a long time, I was kind of the investigative journalist I used to be in terms of trying to figure out what that thing was. And I still fall into that trap too, but I don't actually need to know. All that matters is that, I don't need this anymore in my life. I can just let it go. So I have a little exercise I want to share with you, but I need a volunteer to come up on the stage. Who's going to come up and be my guinea pig? Come on. Yeah. Come on, get up here. That's awesome. Okay, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, so what's your name?
Paul.
Paul, where are you from?
Boston.
Okay, and your business?
Martial arts school.
Okay, awesome. So you can sit down if you like.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
So we're going to take your fear. Okay, something that's bugging you. It could be anything.
Yeah, I have a fear.
You do. Okay,
Yeah.
can you put it into one word?
Ooh. I think it was like 6 words, so I have to really pare it down.
Okay, well you can okay, we'll say all the 6 words and
Okay,
we'll
so
pick one.
my I think overarching fear, having a well-intentioned decision, making a well-intentioned decision that has a catastrophic effect.
Okay, a well-intentioned decision. Okay, so let's see. What's a good word? Could anyone?
Yeah, I guess that is
Just
kind of failure, but
failure?
I guess so. Yeah, I mean.
Is it failure? Everybody agreed? Okay, so I want you to repeat after me.
Okay.
This failure.
This failure.
This pure energy of failure.
This pure energy of failure.
This pure energy of failure
This pure energy of failure
is not personal.
is not personal.
This pure energy of failure 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 is not personal.
And I am willing to experience it.
And I'm willing to experience it.
Okay. And just sit there for a moment. Just tell me how, just process that and tell me how you feel.
It kind of makes me a little bit emotional, actually,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, because I would take it very personally if something like that happened, like that failure. Like it would, to me, it would manifest itself in my head as a character flaw.
Ah. Okay.
I mean, like, what's wrong with me that made this fail?
So you would take it personally.
I'm very personal. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So what other words come up for you when you're thinking about how you're feeling right now? Like, it's like you said personal, but anyone else notice anything? Any other word?
Well, self-conscious.
Self-conscious?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could go with that. Do you feel, I mean, you're sitting here on a stage with a
Yeah,
bunch
I
of
mean,
people
yeah.
who are like,
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
understandable to
Yeah.
feel self-conscious.
For sure.
But we can go with that.
Yeah.
We can go with that. Okay, so after me,
Sure.
this self-consciousness,
This self-consciousness.
this energy of self-consciousness,
This energy of self-consciousness.
this pure energy of self-consciousness,
Pure energy of self-consciousness.
this pure energy of self-consciousness is not personal.
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 And I'm willing to experience it.
And I'm willing to experience it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Breathe.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Just, do you feel stuff shifting? Like,
Yeah.
just let stuff go.
Yeah, you just don't let it go.
I really want to thank you.
Oh, yeah. My pleasure.
This is a really, thank you very much. That was very brave. Now, I want you guys to pick a different partner. You're going to do this exercise, this exact same exercise with each other. And you're going to take turns. You're going to do it twice. Okay? So here are the words. Okay? So it's up here. And I want just in teams of 2, get with your partner, and you're going to do this exercise. You're going to pick a fear. You're going to pick something something you just simply want to release. It doesn't necessarily have to be, it could just be something that's bugging you, be anything. But you're going to pick one word. All right? You ready? Partner up. Are you going to do it? You got to do it. Okay. You did. Okay.
We finished the personal space of this. I have issues.
It's interesting though, like, but take turns. I'll explain after. Yeah. I'll explain. It's part of the releasing of it. Okay, do you want, they should switch, I guess. So everybody, if just wrap up and then do the other person if you haven't switched already. Everybody talking. It's really, yeah.
If you can think about that all the time, you'll be more meaningful to people. Because we're always like, what's happening next? What's happening next?
It's true. Yeah, we live in the past or in the future. And the power is right now. Like what we're doing right now is creating. So like what you're thinking now, you're manifesting.
I'm driving my kids everywhere, but if I looked at the act of being in the car together, instead of thinking, we have everything, but how often do I have them sitting next to me that I could use that more wisely?
Oh gosh, I have that with my kids too. It's just being really present and teaching them to be as well. Yeah. I have that too. Yeah. Okay, guys. I'm going to ask you to start to kind of wind it down. This is a great, I'm just mindful of time. So this is a really interesting exercise. I just wanted to ask, any of you had any kind of epiphanies when you were doing it? Did you notice anything? Did you feel different? Did you let something go? Like anybody have any thoughts about what you experienced? Yes.
Hi. I didn't think this would happen to me. And when I was doing this exercise, I couldn't think of anything. So I was very stuck.
Ah. So stuck would be your word. Okay? So seriously, like this energy of stuck, this pure energy, right? Okay? And so it's about really finding that word and your partner. I mean, you can do this over the weekend and do this at home or whatever. And if you guys want my slides, you can have the words and all that for this. But it's a really interesting thing because you start, your partner, whoever you're doing it with, can observe things in you that you may not be. So your partner needs to be really involved that you're doing the exercise with, right? So that they can help you see things. It's funny because you do it repeatedly and new words keep coming up and you go deeper and deeper and deeper until you're like releasing things like resentment or you're releasing like just deep things in your life. And you asked me a question, which I think is really good. Why is it the, Okay, this is not personal. First of all, you didn't ask that, but I'm just going to explain first. It's not personal because it's not. These are not even your beliefs. Okay, they're not actually your beliefs. They were inherited. Like, I don't know how many of you know what you were doing when you were 4, or what conversations you were overhearing, or what TV show your parents had playing, or like any of that. That all has gone into your brain. Like all the things that have happened in your life. And it's formed beliefs. And without the frontal lobe, you all form decisions and meanings about who you are based on those experiences. So the beliefs that you're manifesting in your life right now are not even yours. It's not personal. Not personal. It's not. And so when we say we're willing to experience it, in experiencing it, like I'm willing to experience failure, I'm willing to experience whatever, it's taking the charge out of it. It's letting it go. It's just like, oh, yeah, okay, it's not personal. I'll experience it. It's not even personal. It doesn't say anything about me. Let it go. So it's a great exercise for kind of doing the golden retriever, shake things off type thing, right? Okay. So, I mean, Henry Ford's right. You know, this quote is great. You can think you can do it, or you think you can't do it, and you'll be right. Because what's in our head, what we're thinking, is what we manifest. And so if we're living in the past, in these old fears or beliefs, or if we're living in the future, we're not empowered. What we're doing right now is creating our future. What we're actually thinking, and I mean thinking consciously, but actually even more so thinking unconsciously, is a driver of our lives and the outcomes that we're going to have. Just a quick show of hands, how many people have recurring events in their lives, like repeating patterns? Yeah, everybody. Why? Because there's a subconscious belief driver in there. If it keeps happening again and again and again, there's something that needs to be released. So a whole bunch of different exercises to do that. So I want to get to my 12 success habits. These are the sort of things that have really helped me on my journey from way back when I was in my, not that long ago actually, in my 2013 fetal position, escaping this terrible marriage, right? Where I was like broke, I had like $4 in the bank, businesses were, failing. I was like, how am I going to support my kids? What am I going to do? Full of fear, all of that, okay? So these are the success habits that helped me out of that and really helped me in business. So the first one we talked a lot about, like, oh my goodness, stop the hustle and the grind, right? Be in the here and now and be in flow. Things happen all in good time. I don't know about you, but I know that I get my best ideas in my business and in my life when I'm not at my desk, when I'm not working. Like walking the dog, being on the beach, forest bathing, I don't know what ayahuasca, whatever it is, right? Like not working. Like so really freeing up the time for yourselves to allow yourselves to just think and just be. Because that's when you do get clarity about all these things and you do get much clearer on how to spend your time and what to do in your life. So we talked a lot about that already. We talked about success habit number 2, which is letting go. So there's lots of different ways that you can let go. You can just let go. You can shake it off like a golden retriever. The it's not personal exercise is good. There are lots of different ways in which to do this. Using triggers as opportunities. When you're when you're just pissed or whatever, just like, oh, that's interesting. Something there is mirroring back at me. Just let it go. Use it as an opportunity. Gratitude is one of the most transformational things, certainly in my life. This is just a little shot here of the gratitude 5-minute journal. It's like it's a book. You just get it. It's an app or whatever. And 5 minutes in the morning, a couple minutes at night. But gratitude's a practice. It's not just like, oh yeah, hey, that was cool. The way I got out of my funk was literally 2 hours of actual gratitude practice every day. Like literally I would think of 10 things or people that I was grateful for, that had really advanced me in my life in some way. and then journal about them, meditate on them, like write letters or call those people. I mean, you know, like, I really like went all in deep, deep, deep in gratitude. And in about like, actually pretty much immediately I felt the difference, but in about 2 weeks, my life completely, completely changed. Because I realized actually, even though I was really depressed and I had all these reasons to feel depressed and feel like a victim, I realized that I had so much. Like I was so lucky, right? Like when I actually added up, like, and there were some days where I couldn't find anything, like, oh, I'm grateful for this pencil that I'm using to write about it, right? But it's a practice, and I recommend it for everybody. It's like a lifetime thing. Like now at every opportunity, all the time, I'm always thinking, what can I be grateful for? I'm immensely grateful for this opportunity, for instance, and all of you. I'm just, grateful, grateful, grateful. We talked about superhero and super shiro powers and getting into alignment with your true passion and purpose. This is so, so vital. Literally getting all your ducks in a row. Be more of you. Do the thing that makes your heart soar. Do what you love. Because life is short, so do what you love. The rest will figure itself out. If you're an entrepreneur, you can create a whole company to be able to outsource all the stuff you don't like to do. And it's really good, actually, an interesting exercise for this is really not only getting deep into say what you were doing as a kid or what you're doing when time is disappearing, but really write down things that you really hate to do, right? It's almost like a foursquare, like things you hate to do, like you just don't want to do, they suck, you don't want to do them. Okay, fine. Things that you're competent at, that you can do, but don't really make your heart sing. And then write down things that you're good at, like you're really good at, but somebody else actually honestly could do. Because what you really want to focus on is the things that only you can do and the things that are the most, if you do that in your life, everything else really does kind of sort itself out, right? But a lot of people don't do that, and the reason we don't is that little inner voice. It's the shoulds. You should do this. You should do that. Who says? Somebody else. And they don't know. I mean, it's about being true to you and who you are. Number 5, this is transformational for me, meditation. So I was the world's worst person at meditation, really sucked, so bad, could not, I tried all the things sitting in a lotus position, trying to do all the stuff, just trying to be quiet. I couldn't really do it. So I had to gently get into it by doing yoga to begin with and that kind of thing, and then guided meditations and all of that. And then finally, my meditation practice really started to be if I don't meditate in the morning, my day just goes awry. I really do need to. And it's gotten to the point now where I don't have to set up, I don't have to put candles or incense, I don't have to make it look pretty, I can just be in the car. I mean, I can just meditate for 30 seconds here, 20 seconds there, or whatever. It's just become part of my life. The point, though, is that you really need to create the quiet space in your life where you quiet your mind enough that you can hear, that you can accept divine downloads, I call them, or just inspirations from the universe, where you can actually ask for those. Steve, I love one of the things that you do, if I may share, is kind of like looking up at the universe or source or God, or just saying, you know that I don't know, so help me, show me, teach me. Right? Give me inspiration. Actually asking for it, but then being willing to receive it. So I do a lot of that in my meditation. I set intentions in my meditation. I do a lot of visualization in my meditation. I, think about what is it that I really want in my life. I imagine it having happened, and I feel gratitude for it. So there's a whole bunch of different things you can do in meditation, but it's important. Journaling. Also really transformational. There was a great book, it's called The Artist's Way, and for those of you who don't necessarily meditate, this is a great way to do it. So you just get this journal, you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is write 3 foolscap pages of whatever comes to your mind. Doesn't matter, because you're never even gonna read it, no one else is gonna read it. It's just getting all the clutter out of your head. So you're just clearing away all that little inner voice, all that stuff, just get rid of it, right? I journal a lot to write my intentions down. or just if I'm feeling an emotion and I don't know what it is and I just need to get it out, I just need to express it somehow or release it, journaling is great. There's some other things that I've done with journaling too, like write a love letter to yourself. Literally write a love letter to yourself. It's the most powerful exercise. Write a letter to your future self. 3 years out, 5 years out, 10 years out. There's all kinds of different journaling exercises like that that are absolutely transformational and have been for me. Set intentions. Intentions are very important. Intentions are what you actually want. What do you want in your life? Okay? And don't be limited. Dare to, we talked about playing bigger. Dare to dream big. Set intentions of what you want. So in the morning now with my meditation, instead of doing a like, you know how everyone has a to-do list or a task list? I now have an intentions list where I imagine the result I want at the end of the day. I imagine it done. Not like, oh, the things I've got to do. What are the results that I want? I don't want to sweat the how. The how will figure it out. Like, we'll figure it out somehow. But the how is my ego telling me how it has to be done rather than that it just is done. So an intention is just done. And you imagine it done. And here's the important thing with intentions is not to say something like, I want this, because then you're setting an intention for want. So you'll stay in a condition of wanting. It has to be complete and done and imagine it with gratitude. So that's very, very powerful. Your health. Like, your health is everything. So like eating right, like exercising, like doing these things, making it a big part of your day. If you're too busy to work out, or you're too busy to eat right, or if you're too busy to meditate, add more time to all of those activities in that particular day. Seriously. Eliminate toxic people from your life. I know this personally. And surround yourself with people who really have your back, like really great people that you're going to learn from, people who really care about you. Find your true tribe. I mean, these are some of my tribe, right? Like doing kind of crazy things and having fun in your life. That's the other part. Have fun. It's a journey, not a destination. Have fun. Like startups and like running companies are like it's so stressful, right? Like there's so many things that can go wrong. There's all kinds of crises all the time. I mean, I know this, but like just, laugh, have fun, like just really explore. This is me in the Amazon. I like to try and do something different every day that I haven't done. Like at one point, I actually started brushing my teeth with my left hand instead of my right. It's just got a little bit of a pattern interrupt. Like just do different things. It just changes your brain. It opens you up to new and different ways of being. And this is so important. Sleep. Like really, seriously. And if you can't sleep, there's like CBD. There's stuff for that. But like it's really, really important to get your rest. It really is. So I have a couple of other little hacks I want to share with you. But first, I just wanted to check if there were any questions about any of these particular 12 habits. If you had any questions about that, I'm happy to answer. And then I have a couple more hacks I want to share with you. Yes? Lifelong. No. Yeah, so no, it's really it's a great question, and thank you. It's an ongoing journey. Like, and I don't think my work is finished. Like I'm always moving on, and it's not like a straight, like it's not like this either. So What's funny about my journey is that all these things I really knew as a kid. Instinctively, and this is why I told that story about being a 6-year-old and just doing all these things that I didn't know what I couldn't do. And it was only the stuff that I learned through my experience and not understanding what was driving me. So in my case, and please, I'm a cautionary tale. You don't have to let it get so bad before you actually hear, okay? Like, I mean, I really, like, it had to be I'm so willful I'm just like really like a very willful, driven person, right? Like I as an entrepreneur, I was often the only woman in the room. So I was like literally like I was a dude in a skirt and I was like going for it and I was gonna crush it and like all these big things. And that worked for me for a while until it didn't. You know. So I think there have been some transformational moments. I mean, I think the gratitude practice for me was the thing that really started that ball rolling. And like doing things like therapy and, you know, all these different things along the way. I think what was really transformational for me as well is being in entrepreneurial groups, like masterminds, where people were talking about the intersection of personal growth and business growth. And like literally being with other people who had gone through this. The other thing that's been incredibly therapeutic for me actually is my podcast. I interview really very highly successful female entrepreneurs, all with like 7, 8, 9-figure businesses who've done like amazing things in the world, like Ping Fu, who invented 3D printing, or Kara Golden from Hint Water, like people like that. And we talk about the intersection of personal growth and business growth, and there's not a day when in interviewing these women that I don't learn something amazing. And what's really curious is when you're in alignment with your passion, your purpose, and you're doing the kind of right, like cool thing, amazing things happen. Like, so I have this automated calendar for like who comes on my podcast. They fill out a form and they show up and they like show up on my calendar and I do the podcast. And I never know who it's gonna be necessarily on that particular day. But I swear to God, whoever shows up that day is actually there with something that I needed to learn that day. Like, I was actually thinking, okay, I'm going to have a retreat or an event, and I ended up interviewing this woman who does retreats and events, and I learned so much from her, interviewing her on my podcast. Like, so all these really weird synchronicities and coincidences start happening, which is kind of cool. So there wasn't really any one moment. All I know is it had to be bad, and I had to do things like let go of a feeling of where I'd been a victim, because like stuff that was, bad stuff was done to me. But how to get out of my victimhood and let that go and actually even approach a place of forgiveness. Because people who do bad things are hurting themselves. And again, it's a journey. There's no destination. There's no like, hey, I arrived, I've got it all sorted out. Because the minute I say that, there'll be something else to learn. I hope that, does that answer your question? Yes. Yeah. Anybody else?
I'm Phil Holburton again.
Oh, yes.
Hi. I just want to add to what you're saying about invest in your health. I used to have a philosophy, if I had to go work out or go take a left and go take a nap, I'd go take a nap.
Yeah.
And about a year and a half ago, I had a major medical incident and subdural hematoma. And, you know, I was 1 foot from the grave. And in 18 months, well, the good story is I invested in my health. So personal trainer 3 days a week for 18 months. And yesterday I did 4 reps of 215 pounds and 1 rep of 225 pounds deadlifting. So it's
That's amazing.
It's a great investment in coming back.
That's awesome. That's so inspirational. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to really quickly go through a couple things. I have this miracle morning. How many of you have a morning practice? Something that you do? Yeah. Okay, cool. Often the thing that people do first in the morning is they roll over and they check their social media or their email. Stop doing that. That's someone else's agenda. That's not your agenda. Just stop. Don't do that, okay? Have a morning routine, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, a little bit of meditation, it'd be journaling, it'd be like something, stretch, but have some quiet time for yourself. This is mine. I do a bunch of things, and some days it's shorter and some days it's longer. But it's important to just set your day and set your day intentionally, set intentions for the day, for the week, for the month, whatever. Open yourself to inspiration, receive it. Right? Sounds simple. Okay, this is the other one. This is my Sunday rewind and refocus. And it starts out with like a positive focus. What happened in the past week that I can celebrate? Often we don't celebrate our victories. We pass over them. We dwell on all the stuff that's shitty, like all the stuff that's hard. But we don't take time to actually celebrate victories, large and small. So take time and do that. And so like on Sunday morning, I'll write down all the cool things that happened, all the cool people I met, like all just whatever happened that was awesome. And I'll be grateful for it. That's really, really important. Then I do a little bit of a check-in with myself. And I have like I have like 10 categories. Things like, love, kind of health, business, money, giving, like all these different things. So how am I doing 1 out of 10 on any of those in any given day or week or whatever? And I'll write that down. Say, for instance, whatever it is, 7 out of 10 for business, or, 8 out of 10 for whatever, right? And then I will write down what would make those things a perfect 10. What would have to happen to move an 8 to a 10, or a 5 to a 10, or a 2 to a 10? What would have to happen? And I write those down as if they're intentions, as if they're already done and complete, and I put a gratitude practice around that. It's really transformational. What happens is if you get into the habit of doing it every Sunday, you check in, you see your progress. You see that, like, oh, wow, okay, like I was here a couple of months ago, but oh, wow, look, I'm actually here right now. Yay, me. And it builds your confidence. It's awesome. And you'll start to see as those intentions start to come true, they're amazing. I mean, here are some of mine right now, right? And I just, I'm sharing these, like everybody gets great value from things that I do. Or like one of my intentions was just by being present, I provide value. Someone actually, and that's an intention from a while ago, and there was a couple weeks ago where 10 people said to me, God, whenever I'm with you, I get value. And I'm like, wow, that was like my actual stated intention. So these things start to come true, and you start to recognize it because you're writing it down, you're keeping track. So it's transformational. It really helps. Then what I do is what are the action steps around the intentions? Because it's not enough to just say, oh, hey, okay, this is my intention, and feel the gratitude and do all that, but actually specifically set action steps. So I will set 3 for each intention that I set on a Sunday. One of them is an immediate action, like call so-and-so, something I can do today. Email so-and-so, like something super easy that I can do right away. Another one is for the week, of like, and then the other one is like, who is a person that I can learn from on this particular issue, or who's an influencer, or who's somebody that I can reach out to. I'm just getting the habit of doing those 3 things. It's amazing. It seems kind of small. So this whole exercise on a Sunday, when I first started doing it, it took like an hour and a while, because it was a big thing. Now I do it in about 20 minutes. So it doesn't take too long. So I would love for all of you to really fulfill your true destiny, step into your superhero power, and let go of all these things that we all have. One exercise I don't want you to do right now, but I do want you to think about, which is really cool, is to think about your legacy. Like when you do actually move on and you let go of your earth suit and you go on somewhere else, how do you want to be remembered? Like, why are you here? If you could pick 7 words that would sum up your life, what would they be? This is a very, very powerful exercise because it forces you to confront your obviously your mortality, but also your legacy. Like, why are you here? So take some time and actually do this. I remember doing this, and it was transformational. And at the end, mine was like she brought. She inspired millions to fearless joy. That's mine. It took me a while to get there, to get to that, right? Like a while. Just, oh God, what is it? Like what? I don't know. But do that exercise. It's really great. So thank you very, very much. It's a delight to get to meet you, and thank you for being so patient with me in terms of answering all my questions and participating and all of that. And if you want my slides, you can email me. Just email me at melinda@wingspodcast.com. And happy to give you the slides. Happy to give you a free, just have a conversation on the phone. And if any of you are looking for any advice on podcasting or any kind of hacks for your business, I'd love to be able to talk further. So thank you very much.